or subtraction is there. So be carefully check it, and as well as we'll start. Windows Server 2016 or 2019. So first of all, the question is, what is peer-to-peer? Peer-to-peer or a work group. So peer-to-peer means there is a two systems are communicating each other. It does not mean only two systems. It is like a point-to-point type. So a system is giving information to other system receive information, or I am requesting, so other PC giving information to me, like a printer sharing, folder sharing, remote desktops. One-to-one communication is peer-to-peer. No centralized administration, not required to access from centralized. No permanent server client models. Okay. Next one is a server and client. What is a server? What is client? What is server? What is client? Server provides a service. Client access the service. Client request for a service to the server. Server provide service to the client. Okay. Or a client request for a service to the server. The server responds to the client. Okay. Next. Different type of servers are there. Different type of servers are there. Before going to that one, these are important things. Domain and workgroup also. What is a domain? What is a workgroup? That is also very important. So before going to domain and all, so we'll go to different type of servers. DHCP server, DNS server, naming server. DNS server is naming server. DHCP server, assign IP address to client computers. Okay. Guys, why I'm telling this, yesterday networking, today Windows 10 morning, now it is a Windows Server. Try to understand any subject. If in case, if I am not able to sit and tell you this is the points, that is actually not required to tell, but I'm telling here. But also take any topic like a Linux or a cloud or maybe virtualization, whether we discuss in depth or very light, no problem. So important is what is what are the questions on it. Okay, so write down all the things one side and discuss or keep talking about it. So obviously you can able to remember the things, you can able to tell about it very easily. That's why I'm telling this kind of stuff thing. It's not about a revision, it's all about the way you have to go through the subject. It is very easy and very effective way, means you can easily remember the things. That's why I'm telling like this. Okay, don't think it as just I'm talking myself or like that. Okay, and just good, we'll see. So DHCP server, DNS server, Active Directory server, so web server, Microsoft IIS. If it is a Microsoft IIS, TOMCAT, Apache HTTP D, TOMCAT server, database servers. Database servers are become servers by installing databases, application, right? You install application, so then it is a database server. Oracle database you install, it become a database server. MySql server. Okay. Postgre server, like this. This is database server. Database server, web server, Exchange server, mail servers. Okay, by installing Exchange, so it become a mail server. Microsoft Exchange server, Squerall mails. Another one is Zimbra mail, Squerall mail, lot of Dovecat, Squerall. So DHCP server, DNS server, web server, database server, mail server, authentication server. Servers, our Active Directory domain means domain controllers, LDAP servers, open LDAP servers, lot of other authentication servers are there. Kerberos, we are using Kerberos authentication servers. Deployment servers, WDS, Windows deployment servers, update servers, WSUS servers, okay. Sharepoint servers, okay, means collaboration kind of stuff. Sharepoint. So many are there, guys. So many different system center configuration manager, system center virtual machine manager. These are all application based servers are there. Okay, file servers, SSH servers, remote desktop servers. Different type of servers are there. Okay, different type of servers. Hardware based servers. What are the hardware based servers? Tower servers, blade servers, okay, rack servers. These are the servers. Printer server, print server is also there. Okay, Hyper-V server, server virtualization, virtualization servers, hypervisor servers. Okay, so these are so many type of servers are there. Okay, client and server. So client required a web page. To whom it will ask? Web server. Okay, client need an IP address. To whom it will ask? DHCP server. Client required IP address for a particular name, particular domain name. It asks for a DNS server. It will request go to DNS server. Client want to send a mail or receive a mail from the mail servers. Client should get authenticated to access something like a printer or anything, or his own computer. Authentication server, Active Directory domain controllers, okay, or LDAP type of servers. I want to install a operating system to 100 computers, WDS server. I want to update all my computers and their applications through network, SUS. I want to collaborate with the people. With the different pages, information within my organization. So that is a SharePoint server. I want to store the data. I want to control the data in a different ways. I want to make access the files things like a file server, FSRM server, data deduplication server, iSCSI servers kind of stuff. So people want to access the desktops, remote desktops. So we need a controller. So then we use a remote desktop server. I want to take a print from the network printer. So I need a controller who manage the network printers. So print servers. Hyper-V servers. So Microsoft Hyper-V servers are for a server virtualization. We can create and run virtual machines in the Hyper-V. Like that, a lot of servers are there, different ways we can able to tell things. Some servers comes with your operating system and their internal roles and feature wise, like a Microsoft roles and features, DHCP, DNS, Active Directory Domain, Active Directory Domain Services, WDS, IAS, WSUS, FSRM, print servers, Hyper-V. These are direct roles and features of Active Directory things. Here it is. Certain servers by installing an application. For example, Apache HTTPD, TOMCAT. Okay. So there is a lot of things. NGIX is a web server. Glassfish, WebLogic server, middleware servers, right? Application servers, WebLogic server. Okay, WebLogic servers. IBM WebSphere. Okay, JBoss, Wildfly. These are our web server and application servers. Okay, database server. So you don't have a database server by default with your server operating system. You may require to install an application side. So if you install a Oracle DB, so it is become Oracle database server. If you install a MySql server in your operating system, it will become MySql server. If you install Exchange application, you become a mail server. If you install a Zimbra application, you become a mail server. Okay, there is a different type of mail servers are there. Just I given the names. Next, authentication server. So you install Active Directory domain services and become a domain controller. You become an authentication server. And also there is a open LDAP kind of applications are there. You install application in your server. So obviously you become authentication server. So role-based servers like a WDS, WSUS also there. Sharepoint is an application. Sharepoint is an application. So better to remove Sharepoint, or you can keep the Sharepoint also. Okay, collaboration type. Okay, so this is Windows Server 2016 or 2019. Peer-to-peer workgroup. Already I discussed server and client. So different type of servers also we discuss. Next one is domain and workgroup. In here, so again, domain is when you talk about a domain, guys, and workgroup. The very important difference between domain and workgroup. So don't skip anything. Just I'm orally telling because it's already 1:45. Okay, what is a domain? Centralized administration. Workgroup, decentralized administration. In a workgroup, each PC has their own administrator. Domain, each PC don't have own administrator or a centralized administrator is there. In domain, centralized administrator is there, one administrator for all the PCs in the domain. In workgroup, every PC have their own administrator. Okay, so you can enforce various type of settings to all the computers in the domain. Here you have to go to individual computer to put the settings like a group policies. Here local group policies, here it is domain group policies. This is very important. Guys, got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So very important question, guys. If I type, it will take a lot of time. That's why I told orally. So compulsory go through what is domain and workgroup. Again, what is domain? A logical administrative boundary of users and computers. A logical administrative boundary of users and computers. This is, you have to check it. Okay, a logical administrative boundary of users and computers. Okay, a logical administrative boundary of users and computers. This is the first one. Second, here it is. What is Active Directory domain? What is Active Directory? Also, there is a question, right? Active Directory, and another one is ADDS. Active Directory domain services. Both are same, guys. Don't get confused between Active Directory and Active Directory domain services. Active Directory at the time of 2000 and 2003 Active Directory concept. Windows NT don't have Active Directory concept. 2003 having Active Directory concept. 2008 onwards Active Directory domain services. Okay, because of in 2008 onwards Active Directory domain services, certification services, ADRMS, right management services, FS, federation services, okay, LDS, lightweight directory access services. Okay, so there are introduced like this. So 5 components of Active Directories are introduced. So that's why the Active Directory become ADDS in 2008. So no difference. So don't worry about it. Okay, it's a Microsoft service, of course. It's a directory service. Active Directory database store identity of users, computers, groups. Tell me on resources, services. Next, and also it authenticate users and computers when they log in to domain or a network. Guys, any sentence, don't get confused. Log into domain, log into network, okay, log into computer, log into domain computer are the same. So it authenticate users when they log into domain. So this is domain and this is Active Directory. Be clear and tell an answer. Okay, it's a very small questions, not a big questions also. Next important is OU, forest, tree. These are important. Site. Okay, so what people, if you're keep telling an answer, people will go one by one. Okay, so it does not mean you should stop telling answer. Okay, meaning is you have to keep telling an answer. If you don't know particular thing, like you are not getting what is site in your mind, no problem, sir. I'm not gone through much about a site kind of stuff like that. You can also tell. Okay, schema. Okay, these are the things. OU, organizational. If I type, it will take time. OU is organizational unit. Okay, organize the users, groups, computers in the different OUs. Okay, so we can easily apply group policies and delegation control over the OU we can able to define. So that's why we are creating OU. First of all, OUs are for organizing users, groups, and computers into different containers. Okay, and we can assign, we can link any group policy on a OU. So the OU users and groups computers will affect with that policy. Okay, will affect with the policy. The settings will be there. Okay, so another one is we can give some administrative rights on a particular OU to a particular user or a group. Next, forest is a collection of domain and domain computers. Forest is a collection of domain and domain computers. So we have a domain trees, domain, forest level domain is there. Forest. We have a root domain. So when you create a root domain, automatically forest is created. So it is also called as enterprise domain. Okay, enterprise domain. The admin is enterprise admin. Okay. Admin in the enterprise domain is a administrator is there. No, we log in with administrator, ADMI, and like that one. Administrator is there. No, that administrator is a enterprise admin, and is also a schema admin. Okay, enterprise admin, domain admin, like that. So it's a automatically our administrator in the first one. Okay, so root domain create a forest. So forest is a collection of, forest is an enterprise. It's a collection of all domains, all the domains. Okay, so tree is a collection of, sorry, forest is a collection of domain and domain trees. Tree is a collection of domains. Okay, collection of domains. So under one tree is in the forest, guys, remember, think like there is a forest. In the forest we have a trees. In the forest we have a trees. Okay, same thing. We have a trees in the forest. So forest contains the trees. Okay, tree, multiple trees are there, of course, separate trees. Some are under trees also there, means a tree domain, and there is a child domain under tree, and there is another child domain in the tree, like that we can able to create. So just go through our old notes, what is I explained. So this is forest tree. Site is a geographical related. Geographical means Hyderabad site, Pune site, Chennai site, Bangalore site, Delhi site, New Jersey site, Exton site, okay, California site, London site, New York site. So these are a site. Site means geographical location. The domains, collection of domain controllers in the particular geographical area, we can keep it under one site. Okay, next, schema. Schema is important is, so when you are creating a user and when you are maintaining a user information, so schema will take care. Schema is a blueprint of Active Directory. Schema is a blueprint of Active Directory. Okay, so when you create a objects, object means, again, what is object, guys? User is an object, group is an object, OU is an object, computer is an object, server is an object. Okay, so these are all accounts what we are creating or what again, user is an object, group is an object, computer is an object, OU is an object. Okay, so the objects and it means user name, group name, okay, user email ID, user address, computer operating system location. Okay, so these are all attributes of objects. Okay, so objects and attributes defined by schema only, and schema maintained, controlled by root to domain controller. Root domain controller. So these are the first important points in Active Directory. Next, how to install a domain controller? What is a domain controller? Kind of stuff is there. These are a secondary part, guys. SID, security, identifier, RID, relative identifier. So any object you are created, there is having a SID. Every object like a group or a user or a OU or a computer having a SID. Okay. So SID contains RID. RID is a relative identifier, means like a sequence 101, 102, 103, 104. Like this is relative identifier. What is FSMO? Flexible single master operation. I didn't remember whether I discussed about a FSMO roles or not. There is a 5 roles are there. FMO roles are 5 roles are there. The first 2 roles, schema master, domain naming master. Okay. These 2 roles only available in a root to domain controller. Root to domain controller. Okay. So remaining 3 like a RID master, okay, infrastructure master, PDC emulator, master. So these 3 are in the any domain controller. Okay. These 2 are only in root domain controller. Okay. In any domain controller, mainly PDCs. Okay. No. We don't go much depth. Okay. So there is a very good point is there. So where the PDC emulator master is there, so that is your PDC, primary domain controller. Okay. Basically, our primary like a primary how to say so. Mainly, we put a easy way. Mainly, FSMO roles in PDC only. Okay, primary domain controller only. Okay, we can transfer roles to other additional backup domain controllers or ADCs, additional domain controllers. Okay, where PDC emulator master role available at DC is PDC. Okay, if PDC is down, these FSMO roles transfer to other PDC or ADC, so that server become that one. But remember these 5 names useful: schema master, domain naming master, RID master, infrastructure master, PDC emulator master. What is a schema master? Schema. Okay. Schema master means when you are creating any objects. Okay, so the how to create an object, how it will be there. So right, so it is useful for that one. Okay, schema master will control how you are creating a objects. Their attributes will be maintained by schema master. It will define that one. Domain naming master. You join domain or want to come out from the domain, or you create a new domain in the forest. You create a new domain in the forest, or you are removing your domain from the forest. So in that cases, who's responsible is a domain naming master. Domain naming master is responsible, is taking care of joining to the domain, creating a new domain in the forest. Okay, so that is domain naming master. RAD master, when you create an objects, each object will get a SID, right? Security identifier. Security identifier has a RID. So relative identifier is there. RAD master, when when any object is created, like a OU is created, or maybe group is created, user is created, or a computer is created, RAD master will give RID from RAD master, okay, to the SID. Infrastructure master. So when you do inter-domain communication within the forest, when you do inter-domain communication, one tree to another tree, one child to another child, or one domain to another domain, whatever it is, whenever you want to communicate one domain. So SID verification, the SID verification by infrastructure master. User identification verified by infrastructure master when you do inter-domain communication. PDC emulator master. Two emulator master. One role is PDC emulator master. PDC emulator master actually like time synchronization between Active Directory server, one domain controller to another domain controller to users, computers, kind of stuff. Okay, so time synchronization. The very important one is password changing. Like when I create an account, I give a password, or a already existing user, I want to change the password. So either you give a new password or a changing the password. PDC emulator master is important. So that's why. So in which domain controller you have a PDC emulator master, that domain controller is primary domain controller. So these are FSM roles and okay, guys. Next one is group policies. Guys are understanding, or I'm just telling so many things. Okay, no problem. I will complete and will okay. So group policies. What is a group policy? It's a administrative tool. Powerful administrative tools. Group policies enforce various things to computers. Various to large number of users and computers. What are the type of settings it is? So look at what are the type of settings? Desktop type settings, network related settings, firewall settings, application deployment, applications you can able to do it, Okay, folder redirection, folder redirections. Okay, desktop background settings, update settings, security settings. So how to do it? So first of all, go to server manager, go to tools, group policy, management. So that is called a Gpmc, group policy management console will open. Okay. Under that one, so find out where is GPO. Then you have to follow like this. New, create a GPO. First give some name, then right click, edit on it. Okay, edit group policy. So define what setting you want to do it. Under user configuration, computer configuration. Okay, so you have to do that setting. So edit GPO and with the settings. Okay, the editing GPO we call as a Gpme, group policy editor. Group policy editor. So once you are done editing, so then link the policy. Okay, so link your GPO. Where can we link it? You can link to OU, domain, or site. We can able to link. We cannot able to link not link to direct user, group, computer, default containers. So we cannot able to think like a user container, computer container, like that. So we can't able to do it. Okay, new, create a new, edit, link. Okay, so then we have to go to refresh, update policy, update. So go to run or CMD, in which is put a GP update /force on server and clients. Next is verify. Go to clients. Okay. If it is user configuration setting, GPO setting in user configuration, we need a sorry, sign out, sign in means next sign in. GPO setting in computer configuration. Restart. Okay, so this is how to deal with a group policy. Again, it's a powerful administrative tool. Enforce various type of settings. Okay, enforce various type of settings to large number of groups, large number of users and computers. Different type of settings are there. Desktop setting, network setting, application deployment, kind of folder redirections, updates, so like any things you can set it. Okay, so how to do the group policies? Create a group policy, edit the group policy, link the group policy, update the policy, and verify the policy. So that is important. Okay, so once you are verified, make sure that is working good. Guys, this is about your Active Directory part of Windows servers. Of course, there is a one more is there in Windows Server 2016 features. 2019 features. Also check it what are the features are there, like a Hyper-V is there, nested virtualization is there, shielding is there, shielded virtualization is also there. Okay, like what are the features we can able to getting it. Nested virtualization, Hyper-V, okay, virtual machine shielding, okay, shielded virtual machine shielding, VM virtual machine shielding is there, protection there, okay. Add or remove, okay, NICs, virtual NICs, VM when it is running. There are a lot of things. PowerShell Direct is there. Nano servers. Server editions. What are the server edition, guys? Standard, data center, essentials. Essentials only 25 users, 50 devices. Standard and data center, full working. No difference. Okay. Only thing is 2 virtual machines run at a time. Hardcore license. This 1024 can create limited VMs and can run 024 VMs at a time. Okay, these are the Windows Server editions. Except that one, standard in data center for minimum requirements, maximum requirements, roles, features, everything is same. Okay, roles wise, feature wise, everything is same. Next, server core is a minimal version, only CLI. Next, server desktop experience. Desktop experience means GUI screen. Nano. No CLI, no GUI. Okay. So no CLI, no GUI type, only very basic user interface. Okay, no CLI, no specific GUI, only it is. So we can manage with the server manager or PowerShell, remote PowerShell or PowerShell Direct. Okay, so this is Okay, sorry guys, small disturbance. Okay, so Windows Server. So these are certain features. You can try features. Already I shared the PPT. Check Windows Server 2016 feature or a 2019. Anything, any one is enough. So main important features, check it. OneDrive is there. Like that. Okay. Even for Windows 10 also, I forget OneDrive, guys. Windows 10 also, I forget OneDrive. So keep it that one. I add that OneDrive kind of stuff. Windows servers, Windows Server Core. Okay. Um, uh, okay. So this is about Active Directory. This is about a Windows Server. Next one is group policies also completed. So what are the leftover main important two topics? DHCP, DNS, DFS. Okay. What is DHCP, guys? Please, we have just 15, 20, 30 minutes. We'll complete all these three things. Tell me. Dynamic, host, configuration, call, port number 6768. Sometimes they will ask question, what is for a 67? What is for a 68? Even if you got confused, no problem, guys. Okay. So don't worry. Like for example, you are sending a request 67. You are receiving from server. It is 68. It is listening ports. Listening ports means server listen to 64. Server listen to 64. So it will take the request with the 64. When it is sending, it use 68. So server side and client side. Client send with 67. Client send with the 67. Receive with the 68. Server listen to 67 and speak with the 68. Okay, so that is it. Okay, so to assign IP address, DHCP server assign IP address to the client automatically. Okay, so this is the important one. So we can assign manually and statically. So difference between manual and dynamic automatic. Assigning IP address manually and automatically. So what is the difference? You have to go through it manually. Manual means you have to assign IP address. More number of PCs increases, more burden, right? 100 computers, difficult. 10 computers are okay, but 100 computers are difficult. 200 computers, very, very difficult, right? Like that. Automatic, it is okay. Like 100 computers, it assign IP address automatically. And manually you're assigning, there is a lot of typing mistakes or happens. Conflicts occurs possible. In automatic, it automatically avoid the conflicts and typing mistakes. So that is the main important points of DHCP. Okay, so administrator burden will be reduced, administrator work will be reduced. Okay, less mistakes or no mistakes. Okay, no mistakes of automatic point. Okay, like this. Okay, so but everything we have to depends upon DHCP server only. If DHCP server not working, no IP address, no problem. Okay, that is next. DHCP server use which process? Dora process. Yes, this is a question like what is DHCP? What is the DHCP and what is the difference between advantage of using DHCP and what is a Dora process? Dora discover, offer, request, acknowledgement. Discover, offer, request, acknowledgement. So client discover, servers, client send a discover packet to the server. Server receive and offers a IP address to the client. Client request for the IP address. So server send an acknowledgement with IP address and remaining configuration. Okay, so this is a Dora process. Last time some people got a question, how do you configure DHCP? There's two-way answer is there. One is at a client side, how you will get an IP address from DHCP server. That is one thing. So another thing is, really you should know how to install a DHCP server role. Okay, compulsory. Make sure you must know how to install a DHCP server role. Role installation, configuration, ranges that you have to do it. Okay. Lease duration. So remember only two things: 50%, 87.5%. As I remember, okay, like this. 2 percentages are there. What it is? Server. Whenever the client got an IP address, so there is a lease duration. 50% of lease duration. At the 50% of lease duration, client has to renew its IP address. So extension of lease duration. Client failed at 50% of lease duration. So client tries at 87.5% of total lease duration. Okay. So try to renew it. Okay. So again, client failed to renew at 50% and 87.5%. 100% of lease duration completed. So the server remove the client information from the server list. Okay. Server actually note down when client got an IP address, server note down server name and a MAC address and IP address in the lease table. Okay. So client has to renew it. So then at server it's going to be extended. Okay. So server, so the client will renew process starts at 50% of lease duration from the client side. So renew is purely depends upon request and acknowledgement only, not a complete Dora process. Only request and acknowledgement only. Okay, so that is a lease duration. Lease duration means it's a time period when client get an IP address and when it is going to be expire is the list maintained by server. Client keep updates, extend their lease duration either at 50% of lease duration or 87.5% of lease duration. If client failed at 50%, so then next renew process starts at 87.5%. Even client is unable to renew at 87.5%. 100% of client, 100% of time lease duration completed, server remove client information from the server. So that is a lease duration. Next part is reservation. What is a reservation? Reserve an IP address permanently to a PC. So normally in DHCP dynamic IP addresses, so client will get an IP address different times, like with different IP addresses it will get it. Okay, not always same IP address, and there is a lease duration. So once lease expiry kind of stuff, what happened? So regularly means daily or daily like that. So client will get either same IP address every time or a different IP address. So client will get a same IP address always or a different IP address. mostly like in DHCP client will get a, okay, like that. Oh, sorry. Yeah, my mind is also not working. So what is the reservation? You want to reserve an IP address for a particular client. So the client will get always same IP address. Irrespective, there are following. Okay, irrespective of what lease duration there are following. So reservation means a client or a particular device or a particular PC, we can reserve an IP address for that one. Anyone go for a DNS? Domain name system. It is domain name system. Okay. So it is a naming system. It is, of course, there is a big architecture T is there. So forwarder, local domain, the query kind of stuff. Okay. So the name to IP address, DNS maps name to IP address. Some people tell translation. Okay. So also like we can use that word also, no problem. But maps name to IP address. For example, here user want to communicate www.google.com. So here it is. Point is all communications with IP address only. But again, people will ask only one question, sir. Can we able to communicate MAC address? Interviewer asked like this. Okay, so how to communicate with a MAC address? Yes, why we are keep telling all communication with IP address. We can't communicate with a name. We can't communicate with a MAC address also. Either it is local or a public communications. We are all communicate with a IP address. Okay, so only IP address we can communicate. We can't communicate with a MAC address. MAC address only for security or a local binding purpose only. Okay, so only for some verification purpose. Okay, we can't change the MAC address. We can't assign MAC address. Okay, so all communications with the IP address. So user PC don't know what I'm trying to do it. User want to communicate www.google.com. Okay, request go to DNS server. DNS server returns IP address of www.google.com. Communicate google.com IP address. So simplicity say what is that, guys. So they look up Jones. forward lookup join. Is a name to IP address, domain name to IP address. Next one is so no afternoon, no class. Okay, so afternoon we are not having any class. You have to study. That is important. Not taking classes. Fully qualified domain name. Host name, for example, PC1. Domain name is domain17.com. Yeah, is PC1 dot represent records. Okay, SOA NS host for yes, SOA NS host A host name is yes name servers record DNS servers record. Host A this belongs to IPv4. This is belongs to IPv6. Alias means it's like a duplicate. Okay, MX mail server. Okay, SRV is service location record. Where is your authentication server? PTR pointer record. It is in the reverse lookup zone. Reverse lookup zone. These are all in the forward lookup zone and reverse lookup zone. SOA, NS, PTR also there. Okay, so this is specifically in a reverse lookup zone. Okay. Anything you want in a DNS, guys? There's few more things are there. Distributed file system. Okay, it is like a single point of contact type only. Okay, not a single point of contact. It's like a DFS naming system. It means user not required to access shared folders from different servers. Search and access from different servers. Okay. user with a single name, user search with a single name, DFS server. I'm waiting. So if you have any doubts, please tell me. Okay. If you keep silent, I will get exhausted. Okay. So compulsory go to what is a Windows server, what is peer-to-peer, and Workgroup, what is a database. DIT. Yeah, OS, yeah, LDAP. This is a authentication. Why it is making noise, but I didn't get anything. I think someone's phone it is. Okay, so this is two things. Kerberos, what is SID, what is RID, what is FSMO, flexible, single master operation roles. Okay, primary domain controller having these 5 roles. Mainly these 2 roles only available in the root domain. All other domains, all domains, 3 roles. Root domain, additionally 2 roles. Okay, schema master, domain naming master, RAD master, infrastructure master, PDC, emulator master. The next one is what is group policies. Policies are we are enforce various type of settings. We have done 2 practicals on it. So just go through once, at least one practical is okay. Okay, enforce various type of settings. We can forcibly put the settings to all domain computers, either user wise or a computer wise. You can deploy application. You can put the settings for networking, security settings, desktop settings, update policies. So create a your manager tools, group policy management, create a policy, edit the policy, link the policy on your domain or a site, okay, and update the policy using AG on both side server and client, and verify the policy by restart the client computer array sign up 10 sign. This is told in the second one. Source of servers, type of servers in Windows servers in types. Okay. And what is DHCP configuration protocol? What is the use of DHCP? It assign IP address to client automatically. Difference between manual and automatic assigning, or static or dynamic. What is Dora process? Discover, offer, request, client request, offer IP address to the client, client request for a IP address to the server, server send an acknowledgement to the client. Lease duration and reservation, better to know it. DNS, domain name system, it name to IP address kind of stuff. Okay, all communications through IP address. So you must know the IP address of the domains, right? www.google.com, gmail.com, yahoo.com, youtube.com, facebook.com kind of stuff. Compulsory need a IP address. So how to get an IP address? You have to ask a DNS server. So DNS server returns an IP address to your client computer. So then we can able to communicate. In the DNS server, there's two lookup zones are there: forward lookup zone and reverse lookup zone. Forward lookup zone maps name to IP address, and reverse lookup zone IP address to FQDN. FQDN means fully qualified domain name and domain. You want a name, NS lookup. You know name, you want IP address, ping is easy. Okay. Yes, network based commands also very important. What is ping command? What is a netstat command? What is a root command? What is trace RT command? What is NS lookup command? Okay, so these are very important. Of course, ipconfig /all ipconfig /release. Okay, ipconfig /renew. There is APIPA lesson is also there. APIPA automatic private IP address. Yesterday class I covered APIPA. Please check that one. Okay. So what is APIPA automatic private IP address? Check that one also. Okay. ipconfig display ipconfig. Okay. So these are the basic commands. Okay. So no one is asking any questions, no output, no incoming kind of stuff. Guys, are you understand? Can I close now? Or you are asking any questions?
Sir, understand.
Okay. So I told up to now, guys, compulsory go through other things also, like a storage, backup, what is the type of backups, all those things I done a revision. Linux I didn't done a complete revision of Linux I done, but previously I have done a Linux revision also. We'll see on Monday. Okay, so go through once all the topics. Okay, or what, how much you can able to go first, go for that one and ask me doubts also. Go through the questions also. Okay, you can put it in a WhatsApp group also, no problem. Okay, we will tell an answer. We'll see on Monday and Tuesday. So if we have a time, so don't think there is a time. Okay. So
Okay,
go
sir.
through this one also. There is a easy to prepare kind of stuff. Okay. That's what for today. I'm stop recording.